Well, hello, and welcome to another Spotlight edition, of which I'm not dreading, but not thrilled for. This is something that came up in the last Wonder Books raid that I had, called Trevor, Romain, Cliques, Phonies, and Other Baloney. Now, the title at least sounds fun, but it's kind of not. I had this vibe of, alright, this is going to be, just by looking at it, I kind of had that tinge of Christian, but it's not. It's something completely different. I'm trying to think, it was like a Max Licato joint. It felt like that, but it's not, because it's Trevor Romain, famous for his lettuce, and definitely not getting his popularity from this, because this is not where it is, and apparently there are several. Ooh, some of these are actually kind of interesting. I'm kind of going, I don't really care. They got a couple here that I kind of want to see. Bullies, that's kind of passe. What on earth do you do when someone dies? I kind of want to see that. I don't know why. I think that would be interesting as all get out. Taking the duh out of divorce. Alright, yeah, I'm kind of glued to that. And then they kind of have others, like, if you can't take care of your body, where else are you going to live? Alright, yeah, okay, some standard stuff. But they got some hard hitters in there, which kind of have me riveted. I guess Romain here is trying to hit some things that maybe not a whole lot of kids are necessarily the best at handling. I mean, the done divorce, that would be a good one for me. I'd love to see how well they handle that in comparison to how I grew up with it. So, what is this all about? Well, this is about a man named Trevor Romain, who lives on a set that reminds me of Trevor Noah in the Wiggle Wah Wah Whizzle Waddle Woo, I think is the name of that nightmare. Like, he's on that set the entire time, and he interacts with his characters, his creations, in a style that reminds me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit if it was on a shoestring budget. And these middle schoolers are, I guess, learning things throughout their life's journey, for lack of a better term. But they have this god, essentially, who talks to them on occasion, and, like, nobody else can, but these three. Sky Jack, I think was his name, and I cannot remember the name of the third character. I don't remember. Anywho, but yeah, they interact, so it's a little different that way. What is this whole thing about when it deals with cliques? So this is all about the whole idea of fitting in and trying to be popular, where you've got these three kids who have similar interests. Apparently they like to skateboard, for what that's worth. They're into science fiction, they play music, and just generally, middle school things. But Sky, who is the young girl in the group, doesn't feel like she's always included. Like, she's forgotten a lot in a lot of things. And so she starts gravitating towards what are known as the Britneys, which is this clique of girls who look and dress a lot alike. I think that was used by somebody else, and I can't remember it. Hey, editing Sam, do you mind putting in what the Britneys are? Because it's ringing a bell, like hardcore. And this is 2004, and I feel like this is the same era because Britney Spears was a big thing back then. So I feel like that is, it's going to be from somewhere, and I just show it. So anyway, she's trying to she tries to fit in with the Britneys, and she goes through a metamorphosis, and she starts to look a lot like the Britneys, except she doesn't have the same facial features, which is something I should save for the animation stuff, but right here, something about looking at Britney reminds me, I think, of Word Girl. I never really watched Word Girl. I don't really know, but something in that face just reminds me of that design. I don't know why, but it does. The Britneys talk to Sky saying, alright, we're going to remake you into something better because you're going to be us. And this is all stemming from the fact that Britney was going to have, I think it was called Britney Bash 5, but her parents couldn't let her have it because her grandmother just came back from the hospital.
What's wrong with your house? Nothing. It's just my mom doesn't want to disturb my grandma, who just came home from the hospital.
And, this callous snot ball just doesn't care, so like, where am I going to throw my party? So Sky ends up volunteering her space for it, and then they just make her over to look more like them, and they throw the party. I guess the band that Jack and his friend are a part of were kind of slated to do it, but can't. But they somehow break in with the help of Trevor, because this is a thing that goes on throughout the series. He intervenes a lot in ways that make it too convenient for the story, and I don't like that, but that's later. But they go in, but then they get caught, and they get thrown in a party jail along with Sky, and that's where they have their moment. You're trying to ruin me and my popularity, and Jack's like, no, you're actually cooler when you were like this, and then you have their moment.
I was there. I saw the top of the mountain. I was popular.
Well, you weren't very popular to me, or Daryl, or your old friends.
And then she learns that it's fine, and then she goes back to her old ways, and then, true to form, in the early 2000s, we're going to have a song number to close this out, because I don't know why that was a thing. I guess Shrek made it popular, and then all of a sudden everybody's doing it. It's like, we don't have an ending to this, so dance? So, just on that dumb trope, first shot. This is called Rainstorm something or other. I don't have the can. It's over there, and I'm not getting it off camera to get it, because that's just wasting time. Oh God. Ooh, that'll do something to you. I'm pretty sure I just drank liquid cancer. But regardless, that was the whole thing. Woo. Whole issue. So yeah, story-wise, it's kind of cookie cutter. The only twist in it is, instead of like the characters learning through experience, you have Trevor here who still interacts with them like 3 or 4 times or more in the episode. Like, they can talk to him, so he could actually change everything. Like, he's all-seeing, all-knowing, but he doesn't interfere too often. Like, he only interferes like when he feels like it. So, like, when Jack and Sky, when she is Sky, because that was another thing they had to do. Like, you're no longer Sky, you're now Sky, which that creativity. This is why AI will never win when you got creativity like that. So he gives them a key to help them get out of party jail, which is in her house. So that's weird.
We're locked in.
Hey, maybe I can help.
Trevor!
At your service.
Cool. A key.
You had to set up a jail in your own house. Like, you could have known the escape route if you wanted one in there. So it's kind of dumb. But regardless, that is the quirk to this, that the creator intervenes, talks to them, and stuff like that, which could, has two potentials. One, it could short circuit the entire thing, and two, if you write yourself into a corner, voila, you got that. So that's whatever. The true problem with this, because I will say this, the messaging is fine. It's not terrible. It's actually rather bland. It's not really hitting anything relatively new, other than maybe like at the end when Brittany has her epiphany of like, I didn't want to be, popular, but I found security in numbers.
I didn't start out wanting to be the leader of an exclusive clique, but I guess I kind of needed the safety of the group to make me feel better about myself. I was just so scared that everyone wouldn't like the real me.
That doesn't kind of sound ominous to me, but there you go. And so, that was a little bit different. Like, hearing it from the antagonist's eyes, which was fine. But the animation's something special. Because this is from 2004, and, this is somebody's early experimentations with Flash. Like, the character design, when it's still, looks okay. Like, they're not awful. It's of its time. It looks fine, but when they move, that's the other thing. Like, this is one of the few times when they got really curious about who made this, and it was something called Horseback Salad, and I'm like, who? Not that I know animation houses or anything. There's like literally thousands of them, and I had to do I did some background while I'm looking this up, doing this thing, and it turns out there's like a staff of 2 to 5 people, so I can't bash them, too hard for doing this, because I'm pretty sure this was the biggest client they ever had up to this point, because this was 2004 and they were established in 2001, so I'm pretty sure this is their biggest client. And they didn't get a whole lot of money, and it shows, because there are certain things that just don't work. Characters, when they move their arms in certain ways, they look like the forearm is broken off. It doesn't look right. They only have so many character models, because you'll notice a few that are flipped. You can obviously tell they were flipped because they don't look right. And then there's the dance sequence. Just run some highlights of the dance sequence, and you'll see what I mean. Superb in every way. Unlike that shit. So you see what I'm working with here. There are some noticeable problems, but if you've only got a staff of 2 to 5, I really should be a little bit more lenient on you, but here we are. And it's a little tough to take in when you notice them, because they're not tiny things. Like, you notice animation gaps all the time when you watch things enough. But, like, even non-observant people will notice this stuff because it's kind of hard to ignore. But there you are. And then the final thing worth talking about with this. The voice acting.
Me? I'm never scared. I'm like a...
Jack!
It's the aliens!
I typically don't really talk about the voice acting too much in this format, but I kind of have to here. It's not good. Like when I typically talk about voice acting, it's when it's noticeably bad. This is one of those occasions. They are straight up, it's bland. It is so wooden. Like, Keanu Reeves would be in awe of how wooden some of this is. Because emoting is not a thing. Not like they're really getting any emotion out of the character animation. They sure as hell ain't getting it from the voice acting. Because it ain't happening. At all. Because of how bland it is, you're just kind of out. Like, I kind of struggled with this, and it wasn't necessarily a slog until I got to the song at the end. Then it was like, all right, you're done. Can we finish? Can we finish? Can we finish? Like, the song just goes. Like, I think the song is maybe 5 to 6 minutes long, and there's not like a complicated lyric set to it. It's pretty basic, and they recycle a lot of that animation to fill it in, so like I can see what they're doing there, and I wish they wouldn't. So yeah, it's a toughie. The other thing, and these are just noticeable quirks about this that I have questions about, like Trevor himself in this, like, what is his real function other than creator? Because, like, he's part of their band, I think they're called the Romantics, or the Romantics, I think. I don't remember, and I don't care. But, like, when he plays, like, when they were in the garage practicing, he's on this little screen playing his bass guitar, which he's shown playing a bass guitar at the end, and I don't think he's playing it right. I'm not a musician, but it doesn't look like he's actually doing what he's supposed to do. Because my stepfather plays bass guitar, and like what he does looks a little bit more complicated than what he was doing. So that doesn't mash up well. The other thing with the music that I just remembered is Sky plays tambourine, and when she finally goes up on stage, well, actually now there's two things that I gotta bring up because of the damn song. Brittany goes up on stage and starts singing, like that was not pre-planned. So like this was a group that had no lead singer, and then just poop, here I am, I'm gonna improv shit, and we're just gonna go. Alright, some improvisational rock. Alright, cool, we'll do that. The other thing, Sky plays tambourine, and when she finally comes up on stage and starts playing tambourine, her hitting it doesn't match the tambourine sound in the song track. It's not there. Like, I'm trying my best to forgive a lot of the things that are going on. Like, especially the kid wearing the camo pants, and his body isn't meshing with the rest of his legs. I'm trying, okay? And you can't. But again, 2 to 5 people, I'm trying my best to be nice. But you're making me hateful about this. You have a semi-decent message that's presented poorly, that the character style looks okay, but the moment they move, it ain't. And the other thing that just popped in my head, so this is 2004. Kids are on their phones because that is a thing. It's ever present now. But back then, there's a line in there. I'm going to show this where it's funny and prophetic, but then I had a flashback to like what this would have been like and the nightmare on your thumbs this would be. So play it.
Hey guys, who are you chatting with?
Each other?
Yeah, right. That's funny.
What? We are.
But you're standing right next to each other.
Yeah, like they're right next to each other and they're texting, but they're not talking to each other, which is a thing that I know. Ha 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 ha. But that's more of a present thing now. But the thing that takes me back to this, that I'm like, holy shit, is that was back in the day of T9 texting, and I don't know if most people know what that's like, but back then, before you had an actual keyboard on your screen, and Blackberries were way too expensive for a lot of people. If you had a flip phone back then, you had to use T9, which was a series. You only had those 9. Well, you only basically you had your 9 numeric keys that did the text, and you would have to, depending on what the letter was, you'd have to hit each one like several times. And the fact that they're like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Like, people have that, and I'm pretty sure there are some people that can still just pound it out. But yeah, I remember T9 being a thing, and like that was the way you texted for the longest time until the screen on-screen keyboard became a thing. But Trevor, Romain, you should have stuck to the lettuce, bro. Because this, it's fine, but it's not really memorable. It's a good message, but I don't know. Now that I know that you did divorce and death, I kind of want to get those and see what you do with that, because this is a little bland for typical. It's a little bit above the typical stuff that you see for this sort of material. But death and divorce, oh, I'm kind of glued. I want to know. I definitely want to know what you're doing with this. So maybe if I run into it in the future, I will review it. But right now, this is what I've got. 2 shots, because animation ain't great, and I don't even remember what the other shot was for. Basically being bland, I guess. I don't know. This is great. This is great. I've been doing this. Well, not this particular. I don't care. I've been doing this for 9 years now. Pretty close. I've reviewed so many things of subpar quality that a lot of this is going into a graveyard somewhere. Like, some things will pop into my head, but I will forget this so fast. And that's okay. Because this will be kept on YouTube as an archive and a tribute to my legacy that no one will care about. Except like 5 people. And none of them are my family. So, it is what it is. So yeah, 2 shots. It ain't great. Just like this format ain't great, so. Until next time, party people. Toodles.